Serious COVID sequelae include sudden deafness. Is there a second wave of infections coming? A military report reveals a widespread infection epidemic within the CCP's army. Beijing capital garrison conducts military exercises. Is Zhongnanhai in peril? Chinese employees and businesses made videos bemoaning unemployment and bankruptcy at the same time. As the birth rate in China declined, many kindergartens faced closure. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Serious COVID sequelae include sudden deafness. Is there a second wave of infections coming? A recent report by Sina.com.cn suggests a high rate of hearing-related sequelae in patients who have contracted COVID-19 in mainland China. The report cites a figure of 15% to 18% for symptoms such as tinnitus, hearing loss, and dizziness. Sudden deafness, defined as a sudden loss of auditory nerve function within 72 hours, is also a concern. The article advises patients experiencing sudden hearing loss and tinnitus, fullness in the ear, dizziness, changes in hearing, or unusual sensations around the ear to seek medical attention if they have tested positive for COVID-19. Additionally, patients with partial deafness may suffer psychological symptoms such as anxiety and sleep disturbances. There have also been intense conversations on social media over this symptom. On January 2nd, the Twitter user StefanoN06 tweeted that a significant number of recovered COVID patients had suddenly lost their hearing. A mainland resident responded to the post, saying, "January was mostly spent in the hospital, and February was spent getting to know acupuncture. Then came sudden deafness, tinnitus, and hearing loss, which make people extremely irritable and anxious, as well as impair their ability to judge the source of the sound." Another said, "Everyone's COVID symptoms are different. We previously discussed the nose, throat, and heart, and then we moved on to the ears. I didn't have a fever, cough, or runny nose after contracting COVID, so I thought I was lucky, but as a result, I went suddenly deaf. No one should take this lightly." According to the National Development Research Institute of Peking University, as of January 11th, the number of accumulative COVID cases in China stood at 900 million. Without accounting for sequelae such as pneumonia, myocarditis, and generalized weakness, the number of persons with hearing issues now ranges from 135 million to 162 million. Despite concerns over new variants of COVID in China, the Chinese regime has consistently denied their existence. A graduate researcher at the University of Hong Kong, Yan Limeng, has stated that the symptoms of the recent outbreak in China are more severe and the death toll is significantly higher compared to other countries. A virologist at the University of Hong Kong, Jean Dongyan, has also highlighted the shortcomings in the Chinese health system, including the ineffectiveness of vaccines and hospital bed shortages. This means that even if there is a small spike in the future, a larger number of deaths is expected. In light of the severe aftermaths of the COVID epidemic, the Chinese population is taking precautionary measures by stockpiling medicine, with some oral drugs experiencing price hikes and not being covered by health insurance. A military report reveals a widespread infection epidemic within the CCP's army. While the CCP continues to assert that the epidemic is slowing down and China is entering a stabilization phase, a report by Liberation Army Daily published on February 8 unwittingly exposed hints concerning a huge wave of infections within the CCP's military system. The article, titled "Military Committee Issues Guidelines on Military Physical Training After Recovering from COVID-19 Infection," focuses on the guidelines for physical training for military personnel during the recovery period after being infected with COVID. According to the guidelines, during the recovery process, it is necessary to gradually resume military training under the guidance of military doctors for military personnel who are seriously and critically ill. This has sparked speculation from analysts who noticed that CCP leader Xi Jinping's annual training and mobilization order, which is normally issued at the beginning of each year, was delayed this year, fueling speculation about an outbreak in the CCP's military system. Meanwhile, veteran news commentator Wang Yi noted that the density of personnel in the Chinese army makes it difficult to prevent the spread of the virus within the relatively closed circle. Since the beginning of this year, a series of high-ranking CCP generals have died unexpectedly, one after another, due to serious illness. Some of them are the former president of the National Defense Technology University, Lieutenant General Chen Qizhi, director of the Beijing Military Region's Logistics Department, Wang Weihan, and the former deputy commander and lieutenant general of the Nanjing Military Region. Beijing Capital Garrison conducts military exercises. Is Zhongnanhai in peril? The People's Liberation Army Daily reports that the Beijing Garrison, the main defense force for the capital city, recently conducted an emergency drill to upgrade the emergency responsibilities of soldiers and equip them with training in dealing with hazardous and unpredictable situations. The Beijing Garrison, also known as the Imperial Guard, operates under the umbrella of the General Headquarters of the Chinese People's Liberation Army and is directly managed by the Central Military Commission of the Communist Party of China. This subsidiary of the military is responsible for some important duties, including ensuring the security of the capital city, safeguarding the CCP leaders, defending central government agencies during times of war, repelling foreign enemies, carrying out counterterrorism efforts, and suppressing civil unrest. In a recent article published in the Epoch Times, commentator Zhou Xiaohui delved into the significance of the emergency drill conducted by the Beijing Garrison. According to Zhou, the drill was in response to the various threats currently faced by the CCP. Firstly, the CCP is under increasing global pressure, with top officials concerned about the West's high-tech beheading operations as well as recent incidents involving CCP spy balloons entering U.S. airspace. Secondly, there are concerns about the possibility of an internal Communist Party uprising, even within the military, as a result of recent events such as the outbreak of COVID, which has taken the lives of numerous top leaders, complicating the CCP's internal affairs even more. Additionally, the recent reduction in medical insurance benefits triggered massive protests in Wuhan, causing broad public indignation. Finally, Zhou suggests that the top officials in Zhongnanhai are concerned that active or retired military personnel may be used to force the palace's hand. In light of these factors, Zhou believes that the Beijing Garrison's emergency drill serves as a signal of the precarious situation faced by senior CCP leaders, as well as their preparedness for any potential unforeseen events in the future. Chinese employees and businesses made videos bemoaning unemployment and bankruptcy at the same time. The COVID-19 lockdown policy in China has resulted in severe consequences for the nation's economy, leaving numerous businesses and employees in dire straits. Social media platforms have been flooded with videos of individuals crying out over job losses and business owners struggling to avoid bankruptcy. Even the developed regions of Shenzhen, Guangdong, and Zhejiang are feeling the impact of this crisis. Videos have shown garment factories in Jiangsu and Zhejiang being forced to shut down, cut wages, and make layoffs due to a lack of orders. This situation has led to worker protests over pay in several large factories. In another video, the owner of a 6-year-old machinery processing factory in Nanjing lamented the lack of orders, which made it difficult to pay wages and rent. He is currently preparing to sell his equipment and exit the business. Cities like Shenzhen and Guangzhou are filled with migrant workers who are struggling to find employment, and workers in Suzhou revealed that they were promised high salaries, but the reality is far from their expectations. In this video, a man warns people not to go to Suzhou. Despite the efforts of the Cyberspace Administration of China to ban poverty lament, the persistent economic downturn has resulted in the widespread practice of creating and sharing videos of people lamenting their poverty on the Chinese internet. Additionally, the agriculture sector is also facing troubles, with a video showing large areas of winter wheat in regions like Anhui, Hunan, and Shandong perishing, causing concerns for next year's wheat production. As the birth rate in China declined, many kindergartens faced closure. In the wake of the conclusion of China's one-child policy in 2016, the country's birth rate has continued to decline. From 2016's 17.86 million newborns to 9.56 million in 2022, the number of births has plummeted to its lowest level since 1949. This downward trend has also led to a reduction in the number of children attending kindergarten. Moreover, private kindergartens are facing a difficult future as a result of inadequate state funding and increased scrutiny. For instance, a Guangxi-based kindergarten operator reported that enrollment has declined from 140 students when the school first opened 5 years ago to just 30 at the start of 2020. Despite substantial investment, the operator is yet to turn a profit, leaving him with the decision to close the school. The Sun Glory Education Research Institute predicts that the number of kindergartens in China could decrease by 30% to 50% in the next 10 years, leading to widespread closures. Despite government efforts to increase the birth rate, population expert Yuan Xian believes they may not be enough to reverse the trend. The Sichuan province's health authorities recently declared that unmarried individuals can now raise families and receive benefits typically reserved for married couples, beginning February 15th. Additionally, other provinces, including Shaanxi, announced plans this week to offer sperm donors up to $734 to aid sperm banks. Mr. Yuan believes that financial concerns, such as the cost of raising a child and soaring housing prices, as well as women's career advancement, are the major factors that influence their decision not to have children. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.